So the first thing to do with the heart is, as soon as you get your heart in the practical, the first thing you want to do is you want to orient yourself. Okay? So the first thing you need to do, you orient yourself, you need to know dorsal from ventral, right to left. So one way to do this is to look at the intraventricular groove. Usually it's more obvious on the ventral side, but I don't like to do this because both sides have the groove, if you'll notice, both dorsal and ventral. So what you do is you look at the separate portions of the heart. This side here, nothing. This side here has the moderator band. See it? This band right here, that's the moderator band. And it is located at the right side of the heart. So if the moderator band is on your right, everything is as it should be. Dorsal, ventral. So if this were to be in a ship, so this would be the heart, dorsal, the ship's head is here, ventral, the ship's belly is here, and the heart will be pumping blood to all the rest of the body. Alright, so I repeat, moderator band to the right side, make sure it's oriented to your right, then this part becomes dorsal and this part becomes ventral. Okay? So with that, you've established dorsal, ventral, right, left, which means that this is your right atrium with the right auricle, right ventricle, left auricle with the left atrium, left ventricle. Okay? So let's start. First, deoxygenated blood comes in through the vena cava, right here, into your right atrium, right here. Okay? Then it goes down into the right ventricle, but before it does that, it has to pass by a tricuspid valve. Tricuspid valve because there are 3 cusps, 1 cusp, 2 cusp, 3 cusp. Okay? So can anyone tell me what the function of the tricuspid valve is?
Keep blood from going back into the atrium.
Exactly. So when the heart beats, the blood's just supposed to go in a unidirectional way to your pulmonary arteries, so it cannot go back into the atrium. So the valves function that, when the heart contracts, it just closes. Okay? So things to point out, the moderator band on the what side? Left side, right side? Right side, perfect. The function of it is that it prevents hyperextension of the right ventricle. Okay? So the right ventricle is thinner than the left ventricle. This is really obvious because the left ventricle, this is pumping deoxygenated blood to the lungs. Okay? So it doesn't need to have very high pressure. This, on the other hand, has to be really strong in order to generate enough pressure to pump blood, which is oxygen rich, to all the rest of the body. So this has to be really thick and strong. Thus, it doesn't have a moderator band as compared to this weak, thin-walled chamber. Okay? So, things to point out of interest. You have your chordae tendineae, these little strings right here. Chordae tendineae, which are attached to the papillary muscles, which are right here. They are the mounds of muscles which attach to the chordae tendineae, and they're supposed to be nipple shaped. So you have to use your imagination on that one, I presume. Okay? So you have your chordae tendineae, your moderator band, and your tricuspid valves. So what happens then is that your right ventricle pumps blood out into your pulmonary arteries, and there will be 2 of them right here. 1, 2. Can anyone care to guess why 2?
Right lung, left lung.
Exactly, right lung, left lung, because you have 2 lungs. So before I move on though, I need to point out the pulmonary semilunar lungs, pulmonary semilunar wells, which are right here. One cusp is right here, the other one is here. Almost just about here. 1, 2. Okay, as usual, to prevent backflow of blood. So these are your pulmonary arteries, which carry what kind of blood? Deoxygenated blood to the lungs. So just in case you guys don't know, I'm pretty sure you all know this already. So a lot of people like to think of arteries as carrying oxygenated blood and veins as deoxygenated blood. But in this case, when it comes to the heart, pulmonary and veins, it's different. The pulmonary arteries carry deoxygenated blood to the lungs, where it gets really oxygen rich and oxygenized. Then it comes back through the pulmonary veins, which carry oxygenized blood from the lungs, fresh from the lungs. So the arteries and veins, the only way to really classify them is that arteries carry blood outside of the heart and veins carry blood inside to the heart. Okay? So it's completely opposite of what the definition of artery and veins are, where the artery is supposedly oxygenated and veins is deoxygenated. Okay? So this is the opposite. So it comes back through your 4 pulmonary veins. These ones here are really beat up, so I don't expect you to be able to point up all of them, but just know that they are around here with the left or atrium. Okay? And then it comes down to the left ventricle right here. But before it goes through that, it has to go through the bicuspid valves. 1, 2. 1, 2. Bicuspid valves. And you have your chordae tendineae as well, with your papillary muscles. As usual, you'll want to notice that the right flap is really thin compared to the left flap. Okay, I've already explained why. So it goes through the bicuspid valves, and then it goes out, and this is oxygen-rich blood, where it's supposed to be pumped out of the heart to the rest of the whole body, the brain, you know, whatever, through the aorta. So the aorta is right here, this huge artery right here, which has a brachiocephalic trunk extending from it. Do not get this confused with your pulmonary arteries. The pulmonary arteries are more similar to each other in that one's going to the right lung, one's going to the left lung, so their size is more or less similar. But the aorta is clearly larger than its brachiocephalic trunk. Okay? And of course, before you leave the aorta, you have to prevent backflow again. So you have a pair of valves here as well, which are your aortic semilunar valves. Right here, 1, and right here, 2. There are 2 cusps as well. 1, 2. So all your semilunar and your bicuspid valves have 2 cusps on them. The only one which has 3 cusps on them is your tricuspid valve. Okay? So additional things I want to point out are the ligamentum arteriosum. This is what connects the aorta to your pulmonary arteries. This thing right here. And the last thing is your coronary sinus. Right here. That is a vessel that collects all the blood from the myocardium and discharges to your right atrium. And its function is to send blood to the heart itself. Okay? So this is where blood goes to the heart itself. Are you clear on that? Questions about the heart, anyone? No? Okay, then we're done.